Hi, I'm Bowling Outer.
And I'm Lissy Sandwich.
And welcome to
the BS on the Internet.
Well, it's been another one of those weeks.
Well, wait. First, we have to acknowledge that Maddie got his hair cut.
I did get my hair cut.
And you're wearing contacts
Finally.
today.
And I'm wearing contacts too.
You're a whole new person.
I'm winding the clock back. I actually look more like the dude in our freaking banner
up
now.
here? Yeah, behind us.
than I have in a long time.
You do.
So, yeah.
Well, I know. Well, why did you decide to do contacts rather than
I
glasses?
always go back and forth in this junk.
Yeah,
this is like
you
the
do.
second time.
I think this was the longest, ride
This
of
was a
glasses
longer
you've
one.
had.
This is a longer one.
You tend to go to contacts in the summer when it's hot.
Well, working
And
out
you're
sucks
always-
with glasses on,
Yeah,
for one thing.
it
And
does.
then worrying about sunglasses, and I have
Yeah.
prescription sunglasses and normal glasses and have to carry two pairs of glasses around. That got old. And after a while, I missed the full peripheral vision thing
Oh,
that you don't
geez.
get when
That's
you have
why
glasses
I can't wear
on.
glasses. Yeah.
But, give me a few months and I'll be like, I missed this about glasses and that my eyes can breathe better and, I don't
My
feel.
eyes can breathe.
Yeah, I feel like my eyes can breathe. It's
Yeah.
like my eyes suffocate under contacts.
Yeah,
but,
they do.
Right,
They do.
that's why I'm rolling with contacts right now.
It's
though.
your new look.
It's my old look.
Oh,
Again.
that's right. It's your old new look.
Yes.
Or your new old look, I'll say.
Sure, new old look.
However, it has been another one of those weeks.
Yes.
And again, we have a lot to talk about.
Yes.
But we want to watch the Animal Crossing update trailer. So
Yes,
we're
we
going to
do.
tag that at the end.
Yes.
Because that's a big deal. But we have a lot to talk out with everything that happened this.
Yeah, this is going to be another talking it out episode, I would say.
Yeah, because, I need to settle somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Specifically, we're talking, how would you even encompass what it is we're talking about or what we're going to talk about? Because it's kind of everywhere.
Well, there's definitely some sort of
Bear with us.
shift happening right now.
Yeah.
And it's reaching a lot of places,
Mm-hmm.
and Black Lives Matter is one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Another one of those things is we're seeing a lot of creators deciding, I don't know about deciding, but really digging back into their past and digging it up and re-examining it
Right.
now.
Feeling like now is the time to do that.
Yeah, feeling like
Think about how they
this is what I used to do, and wow, that's
Yeah.
I really don't agree with doing that before. That it's such a strange time seeing this happen. This is the first time almost everybody, not I'm gonna say almost everybody, but lots and lots of people have that same feeling where
Yeah.
you get to an age and you look back and be like, wow, when I was younger, I did some
Yeah.
stupid things. I said some stupid things. I thought some stupid things.
I think
And,
anybody could do that really at any age and kind of go back
Honestly,
and cringe a little bit.
Yeah, honestly, that's good. I
It is
hope you
good.
do that
It
because
means growth.
that means you grew. That means you
Right.
learned. That means you're a better person now than you used to be.
Sure.
So that's a positive thing.
Yeah.
But that's not the way it's packaged a lot of the time.
You're talking
because
about cancel culture in particular?
I guess I'm segueing into that without really noticing.
Yeah.
But
Well, you know what started this whole conversation for us is Jenna Marbles' video.
yes,
We were watching this last night, and she said she's going to stop her channel
yeah, indefinitely.
indefinitely.
Yeah.
Her main channel. I think she's still going to stream and all that, but she's a YouTube OG and all
Yeah.
that. And we were like, what? And just as we're recording this, it's Friday night at 9:45. And Shane Dawson just put another one up, although he's not going anywhere.
He's not quitting.
He's just revisiting and re-examining. And I think a lot of people are doing that, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But Jenna removing herself was an interesting choice because I don't think she felt bullied into leaving.
No.
I don't think this was, but I mean, I don't know. I really don't. I didn't get that vibe that people were dogpiling on her, telling her that she needed to quit her channel. Maybe that she needed to address it, but maybe she just really wanted to take the time to stop and think and reflect on it and think about what she's putting out into the world. Same with, anybody who does YouTube or Twitch or whatever, you really want to think about what you're putting out into the universe, or just anybody in general who's on social media, not just YouTubers or streamers. You really have to think about it, but it's almost impossible to have the forethought to think what's the climate going to be in 5 years. How could I protect myself from an opinion that's going to happen, not an opinion, or a viewpoint that's going to change in 5 years, or shift, rather, should I say a shift. But like you said, it's growth to kind of go, oh my gosh, I did this, or I said this thing. And we were just talking before we started recording that you said you were so glad that some of your edgelord
God.
stuff.
Guys, I'm
Ugh.
my first social media, I think I talked a little bit about this before, but not like all encompassing this conversation, right? My first social media experience, looking back, I think this, for at least in my case, worked as a social media platform, and that was LiveJournal. Okay. I spent a lot of time on LiveJournal for a long time, for I feel like years. And that was, but it was, without knowing it, it was the first social media experience I had, because what you end up doing is following other people's journals, and then you go to your feed, and it's people that you're following. You see the journals, and then you read it, and you comment on it, and then they comment back, and then they comment on your journal, and you comment back to them.
Right.
Then they ended up with groups and interest groups, and everybody goes and just talks.
Yeah.
And it was basically like a forum, like with just like people that use journal entries is like the method to begin a conversation. But man, like when I think about the state of mind I was in at the time that I was using LiveJournal, and like the things I was saying a lot of the time, and like just the general attitude I had about stuff, and like
what attitude did you have that bothered you? Are you comfortable talking about this?
Yeah,
on YouTube?
totally. I mean,
what do you? What do you think?
The best I can put it is like a woe is me kind of thing. You know, that like that angsty, like 20-year-old, 21-year-old kind of thing going on, you know, like,
I hear you.
And it was like,
that's a really hard time. It's very transformative. Yeah. Once you graduate high school, and then you kind of get into your early 20s, and you kind of figure out who you are independent of your family and your upbringing. That's rough. Yeah. I kind of feel bad for anybody who's really harshly judged in that age bracket. Yeah. Because you're kind of like, you have to try different things on, but I interrupted you, but go ahead.
Well, that also brings us directly back to Jenna Marbles, who is being judged for things that happened in exactly that time of her life. Fortunately for me, that is gone. Then went to MySpace, and MySpace is gone. Oh, right, even though MySpace is a lot more innocent. And then by the time we got to this social media stuff that has really kind of endured and stuck around, and like the history is now there, I had gotten past that stage of my life. Right. So for me, it wasn't really documented. Yeah. And for someone like Jenna, it was documented. Right. It was put out there. It's on the internet. Or Shane Dawson. Yeah. Anybody. A lot of these people reaching into their past like had to grow up to where social media hit at that time, where people now are using it as like what the part that bothers me about it, really. And like I want to say this, I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this, right? Yeah. I don't know. The part that bothers me the most about it is it's used too often as ammunition to assassinate the person that is today. Oh, yeah. You know, and like, I agree. And that's problematic. That's really problematic, because in the case of somebody like Jenna, she's a perfect example of this. If you watched her for a long time, like a lot of us have, you know, we kind of go in and out with like Jenna phases, I guess we could say. Yeah. And you see that like she is like a very compassionate person, like a loving person, a caring person, and who really just wants people to be happy and feel good. Right. And she's a very feel-good channel, you know? It's just stuff that's very like lighthearted for the most part, and a lot of fun. And people are saying she needs to apologize for stuff that she did 10, 11 years ago, where that wasn't so sensitive, that but like it's hard to think back at the mindset everybody was in at that time. Those videos got tons and tons and tons of views because exactly that's what everybody wanted to see. Now today
I didn't think about that.
Like today we know that that's bad. Back then it wasn't bad, you know, or at least we didn't know it was bad, right? So now we kind of, our consciousness expands, we understand some things a little bit better, and we look back and be like, whoa, like that was a little over the line, wasn't it? But now you have to apologize for doing that at a time when that's what everybody wanted to see and everybody wanted from you. That's
and what people were laughing at.
And what people were laughing at. Millions of people were laughing at. Okay, and like. So it's hard, and especially in case of Jenna, like you said, I don't think that people were telling her she needs to quit. Right. People were telling her that she needed to address it and apologize. But I think at this point, she, in this video, the air I got from her was that she just couldn't, like, didn't want to, I don't want to say didn't want to deal with it, but couldn't really face that this kind of thing that happened, and that people were not going to let her move on from it, and were not going to let her forget it. And I think it's killing her. You know, and she's clearly wearing it, and she enough to the point where she's like, I can't even be here now. Because I can't handle this. Right. And I just, I think that the whole, you know, we'll use the phrase cancel culture, right? Okay. But I think that whole thing the heart is in the right place. The whole idea is we want people to progress, to grow, to move forward, to be more empathetic, right? But the way that they want that to happen, and I say they, just like the hashtag crazy dog pile, right? The people that are the loudest, I guess I should say, the way they seem to want this to happen is just total extinction. Like you have to stop doing what you're doing and you can never do it again. Whereas in my personal opinion, I think we should be looking to Jen as a perfect example of this. We should be celebrating change. Because
and who you are right now. Today.
The fact that you're not still that person, that means you did it.
And how have you been conducting yourself since then?
You're a success story.
Right.
And what that does is tell everybody else that maybe you're trying to convince, which is what this should be all about, right? You're trying to like help people understand that these things are bad and we should be more empathetic about them and like understand them better. Then to take somebody like her that got there, you have to say like, oh, wow, you made the accomplishment, you did it. And that shows everybody else around you that you can do it too. Instead, the message that's getting out there is if you've ever done anything in your past, if you have not been completely pure, if you're like too popular and you haven't been completely pure, then somebody's going to decide that you shouldn't be doing your thing anymore.
And nobody's going to pass a purity test.
No.
Nobody.
And the worst thing about purity tests is that there's no standard. Nobody knows what is actually pure. So one person's purity test is not the same as another person's purity test.
Well,
you will never pass everyone's purity test because this person wouldn't pass this person's purity test. And you're not passing theirs. And it's just, it's a total like exercise of futility.
It is. And that's why I feel like the apology video, the forced apology video.
I hate it.
I'm not a fan.
I hate it.
Because that's like, you have like two little kids in a playground and one pushes the other one and you're like, you say you're sorry and you just say it to make the grown-ups happy. And that's it. And you don't mean it and it's empty and you don't really understand the gravity of what you did until later. That's part of the human experience, right? Where you kind of just act impulsively. And like, I don't know about you, but I've been going over so many things in my life, so many situations, because I keep thinking about, okay, because now we're getting into like sexual harassment of streamers. We're getting into racism. Like it is all like how exhausting
a lot of
has the internet been?
Now.
The internet has been so exhausting. I feel like I try and tweet often. I love Twitter. I love Instagram, and I'm finding myself just not really saying much on Twitter just because it's like I go on and it's this like whew, and the opinions are everywhere. And maybe it's just the people who I follow. I don't know, but it seems like everybody falls in a different place. So what I've been doing is going back and thinking, okay, have I ever been in a situation, and because then I start getting paranoid. Did I ever say anything? Did I ever do anything? And like you said, a lot of the things that we would have done weren't documented. In my personal case, I did not have an edgelord phase. I did not have like maybe angsty phase. Like I went out a lot. That's it. Like I drank. I had a good time. That's about it. I know I could think of many instances where I've been around jokey type racism where, like I'm a minority, I'm Mexican, I've been the butt of many Mexican jokes, many Puerto Rican jokes, all that stuff. And I always took it well. And now, years later, I'm like, what the heck? Like, why didn't I say something? Did I make one back? I don't think so. Did I make one back? Like that's where my mind is. I'm like my personality, I would have joked back. But I don't know. I don't remember. I don't think so. But I'm only going off of who I am right now.
But those stuck in your head.
But they stuck in my head.
You remember them.
I remember them, yeah.
So that means they, like in a way that you didn't know at the time, they got in.
Yeah.
And they hung out.
That's like, and I'm sure many of you have a similar experience with Me Too, because that was quite an eye-opening moment, realizing what you've just been accepting as being a girl, being a female, being a woman, of just kind of like, oh, you get a comment here and there. And then you just kind of go, oh, and people tell you, oh, you should be flattered. And this older man hits on you and you're 16, be flattered. You look older, good for you. And then you're like, oh. And,
suddenly you're celebrating it.
And that's what you're told to take.
Yeah.
That's what you're told. And then you go like, wait a minute, oh my God, like that happened to you too? That like everybody had, some kind of experience. And there's like these little like awakenings happening, and everybody's hitting them at different times.
Yeah.
And
in different ways.
And in different ways, yeah. I know.
There does seem to be more of like, and this, all these little things seem to be like shards of a much larger overarching awakening.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like there's this empathetic awakening that has highlighted a lot of things.
Yeah.
And they're all being attacked individually, and they're not even all really related to each other, except for the fact that they still fall under this umbrella of just awareness and empathy, like things that people have been, basically, I think the way we could probably boil it down is this: things that people haven't wanted to talk about, have been afraid to talk about, or have just been hiding, are now just all coming out at once.
Yeah.
And it's in a bunch of different forms.
It took a pandemic.
It took a freaking pandemic. It took everybody sitting home and thinking.
With their thoughts. To kind of go, oh my gosh. And
looking out the window in a rocking chair. You know?
Yeah.
But like,
I know.
And like when we deal with, like when we talk about even Black Lives Matter too, that's such a huge thing happening right now.
Yeah. Rightly so.
Yeah, rightly so.
Rightly so.
And there's what's been eye-opening for me the most about that really is it's made me realize that, because it's almost like I didn't notice, but it made me realize that up until now, at least in this country, and I think in the a lot of the world at large, there was this taboo against saying anything about race. Basically, you couldn't discuss race. You were supposed to not see color. You know, you're supposed to, oh, you and I are the same. We're just going to do these things. Like if you're tolerant, and if you're like you don't have any ill will or anything like that, you think that the way forward is to ignore it. And completely pretend it's not there. And I've been guilty of this 100 times. You know, you just hang out and do your normal thing, and like we're just not going to talk about it because we're all the same kind of people. Yeah, same thing with gender. Not supposed to mention it. But what's happening now, we're seeing right in front of us that like, and another thing I'm realizing is that I'm someone who has tried to throughout life always try to stay informed, go out of my way to read about what's going on, and like make sure I try to come at it with an open mind and a sense of empathy, and try to understand, and if I don't understand, try to learn, and just find a way to just be okay with everybody being the way they are in whatever kind of way they are, right? So through that, you know, I'm thinking like, yeah, I know that racism is a thing that's still going on. But like, you know, that's just something when they're like flying Confederate flags, and, you know, I'm up in the Northeast where people are more tolerant and stuff like that. But
right. Yeah, we don't really see that up here.
And then, but the thing is, what I'm realizing now is that it is here. It is literally everywhere. There are no towns that are exempt from it. There are no neighborhoods that are exempt from it. It's like I will walk around my neighborhood and be like, oh my God, like I don't know, it's all of a sudden when you're looking for it, you find it. Like if you decide to look for it, you will find it. There's no way you won't find it. And basically the only way out of this is trying to get past that point of it being taboo to talk about.
Right.
It's time to talk about it. You know, we have to get past that now. We're just all going to talk about it, because I only learned through talking about it. Another thing that I learned as like a white man that grew up in a relatively affluent suburb, right? I have learned now, because I am talking to more people about it. Every single person that's not white that I've talked to, every single one, has all had to deal with some significant racism that really impacted them at some point in their life. All of them, in this country at least. Every single one that I talked to, I haven't talked to anybody that was like, nah, you know what, for me it was cool. I haven't talked to anyone that is actually, and that's the thing, that's what I can say. I can say like, yeah, for me it was cool. Like I had to reach and like cherry pick and like really dig so hard to find a situation where I could say there was some racism involved that I was affected by. And like in contrast, it would be so minor that it would be silly to even bring it up and claim it as racism compared to what other people are dealing with. And, you know, and like, I remember when you asked me and you said, what was your relationship with the police growing up? And I said like, oh, for me, police were just like, you know, nice guys that were in the community that like you talked to, and that like, oh my God, they just protected you, and like, you know, they took care of the bad guys.
Oh my God.
And I was never ever afraid of a cop. I was never afraid of a cop.
I'm still scared of cops. Yeah.
I know.
Oh my God. I could count so many.
Yeah.
My family, extended family, everybody. And I'm sure many of you can relate as well. And many of you can relate to Maddie, you know, it just like they never They never bothered you.
No.
That is unreal to me.
Yeah, they didn't. I've had so many times where I've been pulled over, and just because I'm being cordial and nice, I get off with a warning.
Oh my God.
That's happened to me a lot of times.
Oh my God, I've been pulled out. I've been set on the curb.
We had a time.
Like,
This happened
God,
recently,
cuffed.
like only a few months ago, only a handful of months ago. My car was expired registration.
Oh my God!
And by
I was
like
talking
a lot.
about this on a stream.
It was almost like a full year expired. I mean, it was by a lot. Like I missed like the notification and completely forgot about it. And I got pulled over on the way home from a grocery store. I had one of our kids in the back seat, and I'm sitting there, and I get pulled over. I'm pulling out the registration. Not only did I have expired registration, I did have up-to-date insurance, but I didn't have the newest card on me. So the card I had was old too. So I'm giving them my license, giving them all this stuff. And the guy's just like, this is like really expired. Like this registration is really late. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I just, my kid's back here and I've got another one at home now. And it's just been a jumble. And he's just like, all right. It's like, and I'm like, hold on, I'll sign on to the Allstate site so I can figure out, like, giving my insurance. And it was taking me a little bit. And I couldn't remember the password. And he's just like, just don't worry about it. He just went like, here, I'll give you a warning. All right, just go straight home. And, as soon as you get home, make sure you update that registration. Make sure you do it. All right, everything cool. And so often one of them would compliment my tattoos. That happens a lot. They'll be like, I like your work there. And I'll be like, cool, thanks, man.
For that exact thing, for me having an expired registration, that was about 3 months, my car got impounded. For that exact thing.
Not only that.
Yeah.
It's, I think, more.
And then I got pulled over in the same car.
That's the thing. I'm talking about only a couple weeks later. Okay, Lissy was driving the same car with the same kids in the back seat.
Yeah.
Okay, and she got pulled over very close to where I got pulled over, within a couple blocks where I got pulled over. And Lissy got hounded like crazy.
Oh my God.
They were acting
I was
like
about to cry.
They were acting like weren't they like trying to act like they weren't your kids?
Yeah.
And like in the back, they were trying to say that she was pretending that she lived where we were, because you were right around the corner from our house.
Yeah.
She's like, I live right there. I just want to go right there. And they didn't believe that she lived there.
I was picking up T.O. because he was sick at school.
That's
and
right.
And I had to take the baby.
Yeah, take the baby.
I had them both crying in the back. And I'm like, please just let me go home. Just let me go home and I'll get it for you.
She would give the license. She had the
Please
same
follow
last
me.
name as me, right? But they still didn't believe her because they were looking at the owner, like if the car was in my name.
Yeah.
She had the same last name, but they still were trying to make it like you stole it or something.
And that story is mild compared to what so many other people do. People die.
I just mean like there's an apples to apples right there.
Yeah.
I mean it's in the same town with the same police force, with the same car, the same kids, in the same neighborhood. And I got a warning. And then they're trying to act like you don't even have, there was not even your kids.
I got yelled at and I got a big ticket.
Yeah, you actually got legit yelled at, trying to say you stole the car, trying to say you stole the kids,
I
and you got a
impound
ticket.
your car for this. Let me impound. Let me make a call. Let me make a couple calls. I was like,
so
oh
it's
my
like,
God.
wow. I mean, so just realizing this, I mean.
And then you start thinking over, and then, like I said, what was your experience with the police? And then I was like, wait, they didn't do that to you? They didn't do,
no.
And it's just, and I feel like I've had it okay. Some people have such horrible stories, but you start like really kind of going over in your head. Like, and then, you know what I have a lot of guilt over right now is even with, seeing all these police brutality videos, and they're horrible. And I'm trying to read as much as I can. I'm trying to absorb as much as I can. I want to know as much as possible, where I knew that it was bad, but like you said, it was just like, like this needs to be fixed. We need to do something, but like what? It's so systemic. It's so like intertwined with itself. What do you even do? But I still feel like I don't fully grasp the terror that some people live in just by looking the way they look. I could never understand it. I could only have so much empathy, and I could only try and help and be an ally and try and, do what we can do to share and raise awareness and all that, like donate, but even that feels like it's not enough. And I feel really, really guilty for not fully grasping the terror that some people live in just to exist, to go buy a damn bag of Skittles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I could go buy Skittles, no problem. It's fine. Some
I've never been worried about doing that.
Yeah. Like some people can't buy Skittles.
Yeah.
Can't sell a cigarette outside a convenience store.
Mm-hmm.
That's It's unbelievable. And more of these stories are coming out, and Breonna Taylor was sleeping, and Elijah McClain is haunting me. Like, I am getting haunted. But I feel like that needs to happen. That needs to happen to everybody. Everybody needs to really, really, really sit on it.
Elijah McClain thing is so messed up.
Yeah. They all are.
But the thing, what I've been learning, I think, you know, like I said, I've always thought of myself as someone who is staying up to date on this stuff and like relatively in touch with it in what limited way I can be. And I'm realizing very quickly that no, I did not understand the breadth of it here. I didn't quite grasp that it was really everywhere, that everybody I knew was affected by it. But I think the key to this whole thing, at least what's doing it for me, meaning like what's helping me actually get to a better understanding here, is listening. It's listening to people's stories. And I've also found that it's actually helped quite a bit to listen to people you know. Because if you know somebody, if you're white, right, and you know somebody that is of an just, I guess, any other race, right, and you've never talked to them about it, talk to them about it. Yeah. Because if there's anything, also another thing I've realized is that white people are like the only people that don't want to talk about it. Yeah. And like because I guess they're afraid to offend, because the whole thing is about being afraid to offend, right?
Or they have white guilt.
But whenever I've talked to someone, talk to somebody black and it said like, would you want to talk about it? They're eager. They want to tell their story. And I'm eager to listen. Yeah. Which is making me more open to asking, and then making it easier to listen. And like, it's actually helping conversation begin, because we just need to listen. And it's so different than like reading an article about something terrible that happened to somebody in a place that I've never been, around people that I'll never know and I'll never meet. Right. And it's like, that was a terrible story. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that's happening. And then you turn it off and you go back to what you were doing.
It needs to be more personal.
Yeah. And when you know somebody and then you hear about like, oh my God, that happened to you. And then you know the kind of person that they are. They're just basically, most of the time, they're just like, yeah, that's the way life is. That's always the reaction I get. They're just like, yeah, that's the way it is. Yeah. You know, and you just learn to deal with it. And you know what? I'm all right with it. I figured I've come to terms with it. I'm all right. That's always where it comes down to. And it's just, I'm thinking like, oh my God, why did you have to come to terms with something like that? Yeah. And like that these things had to happen. So, I mean, if you do have somebody you could talk to, you know, no matter how, you know, you may already be, consider yourself and be like a strong ally, right? Yeah. But just do it anyway. Listen to the story, because you might be surprised at what you learn anyway. Yeah. And I guess that's the best thing I could say. Yeah. Just
and
listen.
You know, if any of you have any stories you want to share in the comments, really just as like a way to get it off your chest, or to let other people know anything that's happened to you, or in a way that you're listening, or what are you doing to try and move this forward in some way? Because I really feel like what may make this complicated is everybody's arriving at a similar conclusion at different times. Like I was so proud of them. My parents called me like maybe last week or the week before, and my mom wanted to know the name of somebody who lived in our neighborhood. She said that her and my dad were discussing people who they have judged because of their race, and they don't feel good about it, either because of their upbringing. My dad's from Brooklyn, my mom's from South Philly, very racially divided area. You know, my dad grew up in, you know, Puerto Rican, Cuban, Mexican neighborhood. My mom grew up in South Philly. There's a lot of Italians around there. So there's a lot of racism, a lot of division going on around there. So they were poisoned by their upbringing, as a lot of people tend to be, you know, and then they get out in the world and they're like, oh no.
Yeah, you're not born thinking any of this.
Yeah, exactly. You're a product of your environment. You really are. And I was proud of them to kind of think like, oh my gosh, there was somebody, I think it was one of my friends that they judged or whatever, because he was from a certain neighborhood or something like that. And they were like, oh yeah, like we feel really bad about that. And I was like, good, like I'm glad you're thinking about this, you know, like really they're trying. So even though we may be in different, you know, at different stages with it, you know, the fact that they're making an effort is huge to me, you know, that they're trying to do some examination and things like that. And maybe, you know, the lockdown is helping with this kind of thing. People are having a lot of conversations and stuff like that. But I mean, it's weighing on me a lot, and I want more to happen, but I understand that nobody really knows how. And then like the Confederate statues. Oh my God, the Confederate statues. Like this week has been a mess.
Yeah, it's been a mess.
It's been a mess, but it's been really fascinating to watch. Yeah. And I don't think it's bad to take down Confederate statues.
It's a whole different thing, right?
Take them down.
Like how you feel about what that means. Some people think it's erasing history. which I don't agree with at all.
I saw a tweet that said, "Oh, how else would we have known what happened in World War II with Nazi Germany and everything if they had if they took the statues down? Otherwise, we wouldn't know what happened."
Now, in my personal opinion on that matter, I don't mind giving my opinion on this crap. All right, you guys can disagree with me. That's totally cool. Honestly, it's totally cool if you disagree with me. My personal opinion on it, though, is that having a statue put up in a public place, prominently displayed, like beautifully displayed, that's a celebration.
Yeah.
That's a pride thing.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to celebrate or don't have pride in what it stands for, then take it down.
Yeah.
You put it in a museum. It's not erasing history.
Museum of
We're
shame.
always going to know what happened.
Yeah.
We're not pretending it didn't happen. We're just choosing not to celebrate it.
Yeah.
In fact, if anything, I don't think any of this that's going on at all right now, I don't think any of this is erasing history. I think it's illuminating history, to be perfectly honest.
I know.
Because we weren't talking about, not a lot of people were talking about that massacre at Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
Like an affluent black community and they were slaughtered and chased out of their town for no reason.
And they didn't teach us that.
And they didn't teach it to us in public school. Like,
no idea.
That's crazy to me that they didn't teach it.
We were like, why? Why did we not learn that?
Yeah, there's a lot of things we didn't learn.
And you know
because
what's
that's
awesome?
the whole brushing under the rug thing.
But you know what's really cool? A bunch of high school students from our area marched this week to demand that the school board have African American studies be a prerequisite to graduate. They must take an African American class. And I think the Board of Education is going to listen and be like, okay.
I think they will too.
They really, in our community, they really listen to the kids and all of that stuff, which I think is great. I think it's a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
Wonderful idea.
I
do.
Well, I mean,
I do.
Especially because now it's become obvious that the education hasn't been there.
Yeah.
So exactly, we're not trying to pretend things didn't happen. We're trying to talk about it more.
I know.
I don't think we've been talking about it enough.
We want to talk about it more.
Yeah, we want to talk about it more.
Well,
we want to dig it up. We want to look at it and really examine what happened.
That's like what I know we're really going on. We'll wrap it up, guys. I'm sorry.
It's a long one.
I know. I'm so sorry.
I guess closer to a podcast.
I know. But sometimes we need to talk things out, and you guys really help us form an opinion. And because you guys are from everywhere, and
it's always so cool to see all the different perspectives you guys bring.
It's really helpful because we're really, I really want to try and do everything we can here.
Yeah.
At least work as a person, work as a community, work as a country, everything. But I think, like you said, you really didn't know. And there's a lot of things that I didn't know. But I feel like the information we were given was very, very selective.
Yeah.
And but social media and the internet and all that stuff really kind of illuminated a lot of things.
Yeah, we didn't have that.
We did not have.
When we were in public school, we did not have the internet.
No.
But we had it on a very limited basis. We didn't have it like it is today.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember when Wikipedia started.
Yeah.
But so it wasn't used as such a massive exchange of information, especially since social media wasn't there.
Right.
You had to really hunt out and find things. If you didn't know what you were looking for, you didn't find it.
Right.
Now things find you.
Yeah.
It's like, and when you put it out there, there's definitely greater, and you have to be a lot more careful these days about what kind of information you're digesting, what the source is.
Yeah.
And you really got to learn to be a critical thinker and make sure things are true before you act on them. But there's a lot of very good information, old information, historical stuff that just was being legit swept under the rug that people just wanted to stop talking about.
Yeah.
And now there's a lot of people that are like, yeah, you can't pretend this never happened. It's coming back now. Now we got to look at it. Now we got to talk about it. So let's talk about it.
I know.
That's just talk about it. I know a lot of people have an issue with what's happening right now. Is it that bad just to talk about it? Because I think that
some people think so. Some people are really uncomfortable.
Just to talk about it. I mean, if that's too much to ask, then you are legit closing yourself off. You have to realize that, right? It's probably self-preservation. It's you're protecting yourself from things you don't really want to feel, right? Whether consciously or subconsciously. But if listening is too much for you, then you're not open. No matter how open-minded you may think you are, you're not. Okay.
Right.
So step one, just start listening. You can have whatever opinion you want. You can act on it any way you want. You can retort however you want. You can digest the information however you want, but start with listening. And don't be listening to like talking heads telling you what you already believe and just indulging in confirmation bias.
I know.
Just listen to the people that disagree. Listen to the people that have lived different lives than you, and just listen. That's it. And don't say anything, just absorb it.
Yeah.
Because
people want to talk. People are ready to talk.
People are ready to talk.
And some people are so passionate that, you also have to be careful how you deliver your information because you want it to be received well
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
Like, if you yell it at somebody. But hey, that works for some people. Some people need to be yelled at in order for it to, we're all different, in order for it to hit
That's
home.
true too.
But
I
if you're
do
here
think
to listen,
we need to be reasonable.
it needs to be a respectful conversation, and people really, they really, really have to listen.
And I think that if you're somebody who is curious and doesn't understand, then do not be afraid to say, I don't understand.
Yeah.
And do not be afraid to say, can you help me understand? Because all of us, when I say we have to listen, and believe me, I am lumping myself in with this. Like, I'm trying to say, like, if you're not ready to listen, you're being close-minded. I'm saying this because this is where I came from, right?
Yeah.
I started, like, I grew up with a very I started from a very different place than I am today. We'll put it that way. Like, I definitely went through my edgelord phase. I am that person that if my past was documented, I would be canceled, right? I would be freaking hashtag Maddie's cancel party. Like, it's, there's just so many things I think back on. I'm like, oh my God, like I used to say that, I used to think this. And and I did have to discover what it felt like to be open-minded. Yeah. For me, it just was like really learning how to be an actual critical thinker, which is a lot more complicated, a lot more difficult than it sounds. Yeah. It's a skill. You have to learn how to do that. And if you learn how to do that, that changes the way a lot of things look. And just, we have to be ready to listen now at this point, and be open and be respectful and be not afraid to say you don't understand. Because the idea is that hopefully you will come out with more understanding. We're supposed to be going in not understanding. That's the deal. Yeah. That's the whole point. Yeah. So don't be ashamed if you don't understand. That's where we're starting from.
Yeah, I hear you.
We just can't end there again.
Right.
Over and over and over again. Yeah. So, wow. Ranting.
We went too long.
Ranting.
Oh my God. 39 minutes. We got to watch Animal Crossing.
All right, well, let's top this off with some Animal Crossing, this wonderful conversation, very uplifting conversation.
I've been waiting all week for this.
Yes.
I know we were gonna do it, tonight anyway, but whatever. What's all this? What's happening here?
You have to hit play.
I am, but still.
There you go.
I'm just saying. Oh my God, I'm so excited. The third, that's Hamilton Day. Hamilton's on Disney Plus. Watch Hamilton, everybody. Oh my God, the ocean is opening. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Look! I love this. I caught a crab. I caught a sea urchin.
That is for sea
creatures. Yay! Oh my gosh. Can we stream and we'll all go swimming? Blathers.
Sea creature donations. Okay, so you got to get the whole Blathers thing going again.
A spotted garden eel. Oh. I like the tuba.
I think you should be able to go deep sea so that Lissy has to go find,
There's an otter.
Oh my God! Pascal!
His name is Pascal?
Oh,
Look
man.
at his little suspendies.
I left you something you'll dig.
Oh, that's really cute.
Get DIY recipes from Pascal.
What are you making?
A mermaid dresser. Oh, it's an underwater wonderland, Lissy.
I need a mermaid room. Oh my God! Gulliver! Look at his outfit.
A new Gulliver.
He looks fabulous.
What does he need now?
Look at that hat, though. You need to get that hat, Maddie.
I do need to get that hat.
That's a Maddie hat right there. Oh no, what?
That's not all. Summer update number 2. Oh, okay, so we know something else is coming from right behind it. How good is the soundtrack?
Thank God for this game right now.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like just kind of be like, never mind all that heavy stuff. Let's go work on an island.
It's keeping me sane.
Yeah.
It's really, really keeping me sane. Yeah. I paid off my bridge.
It's kind of therapeutic.
I'm gonna have a bridge today. It's so therapeutic. It's so nice. Last night I was just like picking fruit and like weeding and kind of like moving stuff around and like, oh, that looks nice there. That kind of thing is just like, oh, it's so calming. Yeah. And oh my gosh, we can swim. Maddie! This is going to be so great. Oh, streaming is going to be so fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to get in on the streams.
Can we all swim together? I'm so excited.
Everybody can swim together.
I hope so. Oh, I'm so excited.
I wonder if you could be able to craft a pool, like build a pool. That'd be fun.
Oh, maybe.
Like with like swimming lanes and stuff.
Maybe.
That'd be fun.
That would be great. Oh, like an Olympic size.
Yes.
Oh, Maddie's serious. We could practice. Do some laps. I like it. Some laps.
That's what I was thinking, yes. Okay, well, that was actually an episode of BS on the Internet.
Sorry about that. I know.
Apologies.
Dr. Disrespect got removed from Twitch.
Oh my God,
from Twitch.
Dr. Disrespect got banned.
It just happened like 3 hours ago. Yeah. We were going to talk about that. We didn't get to that.
And Esports Insider guy leaked out that said a source of his said it was permanent. that he's permanently banned and nobody really knows why yet.
I know. Hopefully, we have some information by the time this goes up.
By the time
I'm sure
this goes
that'll
up. Right
be
now,
old
it's
news.
Friday night,
I know.
the 26th at 10:32 p.m. Eastern. So
I know.
Something
It
else could
just
very well have
happened.
happened by the time this video goes
Guarantee
up.
it probably did.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
but
that's
we have
the
a
way you're
lot
feeling right now.
going up this week. By the way, we have more Last of Us 2.
Yes.
We should be finishing Plague this week.
Yes.
I know. I'm really excited to see how that ends, and then we have all our streams and stuff, and also we have our movie night.
Yes.
That we will have voted on.
Yes.
And hopefully it like the conclusion of that will be tonight.
Tonight, yeah.
On Twitch.
We're moving a stream
We
from
will
Thursday.
Yes, we'll
Yeah.
be doing Resident Evil
Yes.
tonight.
Yes.
Claire's story. That's right.
Claire's story.
And we will vote.
Taking the final votes on what we watch in the
what
Twitch
we'll be
watch
watching.
party on
Yes,
Tuesday.
and that will be Tuesday, last day of every month.
Last day
Come
of
watch a
every
movie with us. Yes, if you
wonderful.
have Twitch Prime.
Yeah, Twitch Prime.
Come on, day.
You can get a free trial. Just hang out. All right, guys, well, that's that episode. So hope you had fun. Leave something in the comments.
Thanks for
it'll be
listening to
wonderful.
us.
Yes, thank you for listening. Thank
If
you for letting us
stayed
rant.
this long,
Everybody be respectful in the comments, please.
I know you will
Because
be.
not all of you guys are going to agree. That's fine.
Yes,
Just be
that is
respectful.
fine.
All
I
right.
know you will be. Yes,
Okay.
of course.
And in the meantime, don't forget to watch us on Twitch. I'm still on the quest for my second main. Fuheen. It wasn't Fuheen. I don't think it was Fuheen. I don't know. I don't think so. And if you like this video,
Yeah.
please support us on Patreon. Click like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.